What was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah? The biblical account of Sodom and Gomorrah is recorded in Genesis chapters 18 to 19. Genesis chapter 18 records the Lord and two angels coming to speak with Abraham. The Lord informed Abraham that the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grievous. Genesis 18:20. Verses 22 to 33 record Abraham pleading with the Lord to have mercy on Sodom and Gomorrah because Abraham's nephew, Lot, and his family lived in Sodom. Genesis chapter 19 records the two angels, disguised as human men, visiting Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot met the angels in the city square and urged them to stay at his house. The angels agreed. The Bible then informs us, before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them." Genesis 19:4-5. The angels then proceed to blind all the men of Sodom and Gomorrah and urge Lot and his family to flee from the cities to escape the wrath that God was about to deliver. Lot and his family flee the city, and then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, including all those living in the cities. Genesis 19:24. In light of the passage, the most common response to the question what was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah, is that it was homosexuality. That is how the term sodomy came to be used to refer to anal sex between two men, whether consensual or forced. Clearly, homosexuality was part of why God destroyed the two cities. The men of Sodom and Gomorrah wanted to perform homosexual gang rape on the two angels, who were disguised as men. At the same time, it is not biblical to say that homosexuality was the exclusive reason why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were definitely not exclusive in terms of the sins in which they indulged. Ezekiel 16:49-50 declares, "Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me." The Hebrew word translated detestable refers to something that is morally disgusting and is the exact same word used in Leviticus 18:22 that refers to homosexuality as an abomination. Similarly, Jude 7 declares, "Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding towns gave themselves up to sexual immorality and perversion." So, again, while homosexuality was not the only sin in which the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah indulged, it does appear to be the primary reason for the destruction of the cities. Those who attempt to explain away the biblical condemnations of homosexuality claim that the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was inhospitality. The men of Sodom and Gomorrah were certainly being inhospitable. There is probably nothing more inhospitable than homosexual gang rape. But to say God completely destroyed two cities and all their inhabitants for being inhospitable clearly misses the point. While Sodom and Gomorrah were guilty of many other horrendous sins, homosexuality was the reason God poured fiery sulfur on the cities, completely destroying them and all of their inhabitants. To this day, the area where Sodom and Gomorrah were located remains a desolate wasteland. Sodom and Gomorrah serve as a powerful example of how God feels about sin in general, and homosexuality specifically. Why did Abraham bargain with God in regard to Sodom and Gomorrah? Genesis 18. When God revealed his plan to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah due to the wickedness of those cities, Abraham asked God to spare the people. In fact, Abraham engaged in a lengthy conversation to mediate for the cities. First, Abraham wanted God to spare the righteous people who lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. He asked, "Will you indeed sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous within the city. Will you then sweep away the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous who are in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to put the righteous to death with the wicked, so that the righteous fare as the wicked. Far be that from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just?" Genesis 18:23-25. Second, Abraham's nephew Lot lived in Sodom. God did spare Lot and his 2 daughters, perhaps as a direct result of Abraham's request. Genesis 19:29 states, "So it was that, when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had lived." Abraham certainly wanted to see his own extended family protected from God's judgment. Third, Abraham had compassion for the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. While he understood God's judgment of sin, Abraham asked God to spare the city even if there could be found as few as 10 righteous people, Genesis 18:32. God agreed to spare the city for the sake of 10 righteous people. Apparently, fewer than 10 righteous were found, since God did destroy the cities, sparing only Lot and his 2 daughters. God also planned to rescue Lot's wife, but she died when she disobeyed God and turned back to look at the city as it was being destroyed. Abraham's compassion for the people of Sodom and Gomorrah reveals the heart of a man who cared greatly for others, including those who did not follow God. In fact, the angelic visitors who visited Lot were threatened by men of Sodom who desired to have sex with them. Though Sodom's citizens were wicked, Abraham did not wish to see their destruction. Like Abraham, we are called to have great compassion for others, including those whose lives do not follow God's ways. Also, we must ultimately accept God's judgments, even when his decisions are not our desired choices. Abraham's request for these cities to be spared was denied. God sometimes says no to our requests, too, even when we pray with good intentions. The Lord may have other plans that we do not understand, yet which are part of his perfect will. Finally, consider how God did answer Abraham's request by rescuing Lot and his daughters. Although Abraham's mediatory work did not result in the sparing of the cities, it did bring about the salvation of Abraham's nephew. Abraham's prayers on behalf of others were important, just as our prayers are today.